What's up, guys? What's going on? This is RJ here, Game News USA. This is the last video of 2025, and we got to go over the top 10 TV shows for 2025. We had to wait so long because we were waiting on Stranger Things. So, here we go. Number 10 on this list is Poker Face. And again, I'm doing a list based off of my preferences and what I think is the best. Poker Face, Season 1 was much better than Season 2. Season 2 was funny, it was quirky, much like the first season, but it lacked a lot of the existential dread that Season 1 had, although it had some moments. But overall, by the end of the season, I was about tapped out on this show. I really don't want to see any more. I really think they should just go ahead and be done with it. It kind of ran its course. The sort of villain of the week, trying to figure out, the mystery of the week. That formula was getting old especially right after all real confrontation outside of the mystery of the week was solved. At that point, it just felt like we were just goofing off. And so, I can't have it any higher than 10. That being said, it's still a great show. That being said, Natasha Lyonne does an excellent job portraying Charlie Cale. And definitely is a great actress. Number 9, Black Mirror. Again, I wish the show would have more episodes. I feel like they do a great job with the episodes they make. They just don't make enough of these. And so, with Black Mirror, it's a Twilight Zone-esque sort of show where there's twists and turns, and it's based off of modern technology or futuristic technology. But what's creepy about Black Mirror is how real this could all be. You know what I mean? And the episodes definitely reflect that. But I can't have it any higher than 9. Number 8, and this is the only animated show on the list here, King of the Hill. I thought it had an excellent return to form here. I thought that the new jokes and the new interactions between Bobby and Hank and Bill and Dale and Peggy were all great. I think the show does a great job at pivoting to be more Bobby focused in some degree. It's got a little bit of a new vibe to it, while at the same time retaining some of that King of the Hill attitude that you would like. You know what I mean? Like, it just is spicy enough to be interesting, but it still has a wholesome nature to it that cannot be denied. King of the Hill at number 8. Number 7, Stranger Things. I'm surprised it's this low on the list. But, they did fumble it up a little bit for this final season. And overall, just an excellent TV show. I mean, I already said a lot about it in my recent review. The budget for the show's great. The acting's great. The characters all have clear chemistry and bonds and story arcs. And so, just for being so competent in that degree, already makes it far ahead of many shows in 2025. 2025 is a great year in general for TV shows. I think it's a pretty stacked year. And one of the new shows is number 6 on the list, Pluribus. Pluribus is a show where basically the entire world, except for a few people, are taken over by these aliens, like mentally. And I just did a review on this recently. And basically, they're sort of like, they portray themselves as happy-go-lucky. They're all of one mind. So, like, if one of them sees you do something, they all know it. They're all of one mind. It's a very unique story. I like originality in my shows. This has a lot of originality. It's from the same people who made Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan. And so a lot of the scenes seem familiar because it's shot in the Southwest, the same as Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. There's a lot of similar camera work and dramatic effect, although it's slightly less serious than, in my opinion, than a Breaking Bad, because it's grounded more in science fiction than in the reality of the drug cartel. That being said, Carol Sturka, who is Rhea Seehorn, who played the lawyer in Better Call Saul, the female lawyer, Kim Wexler, does an excellent job as the lead actress here. She really carries the show. Without her, the show would be dead on arrival. And this is by far her best work, even over it has Kim Wexler, really. And I'm just really intrigued by the premise, and I'm really happy we're going to get more seasons of the show. But for right now, number 6, and it definitely has potential to be higher, because at this point, we're already kind of splitting hairs between the good shows. Number 5, Squid Game. This was truly the end of an era. I'm not going to say it ended perfect, but I thought it was a pretty satisfying ending. I thought it was a pretty satisfying conclusion to what was an epic story, and I'm surprised I liked it more than Stranger Things, but I felt like there was a lot of drama there at the end, and I felt like the overall premise of Squid Games is still super fresh. It's still super original, and for that, I really enjoyed it, honestly. They do a great job at English translation for this, and I'm happy we're getting spinoffs. Number 4, Dexter Original Sin. Usually not a good thing to put a canceled show in your top 4, but for me, Dexter Original Sin was so great. It was seeing Dexter when he was younger and seeing the struggles he went through, getting some more beef added to his lore and the story. The time frame of it being, I believe, the early 90s definitely clicked with me. So a lot of the scenes with Deborah were just flat out hilarious. Harry did a great job. The different actors who are not playing, they're not the same actors who are in Dexter for the most part, but them playing the younger versions of what we've already seen from the main show and just hitting it out of the park was definitely a pleasant surprise. Does a great job of tying everything into season 1 of Dexter and how things play out. There's definitely a few questions, more questions than answers on certain things. It was set to get a second season. It never did. They never explored Harry's death, which was a shame. I feel like this could have got a second season pretty easily. But that being said, it was overall a pretty good season, and I definitely think it's a must-watch for Dexter fans. Now, number 3 on this list, 1923. 1923 is an absolute fucking heartbreaker. And essentially, this is season 2, the final season. And basically, the whole season's really about Spencer and his new wife trying to reconnect, get to Montana, and save the ranch. Meanwhile, back home, the Duttons are fighting a battle for their ranch, and it ends up with a highly sad, depressing conclusion that's truly a Greek tragedy that I don't want to spoil here. But it definitely just has great writing. Just the writing in the show is so good. They tie everything together so well. And honestly, it's as good as any season of Yellowstone in general. And so I highly recommend this show. Number 2, Dexter Resurrection. This show's nearly perfect. Especially the scene where Dexter's, pretending to be a New Yorker, calling 911, blew my mind. He's MacGyver. He gets out of every situation. Him and Batista doing a cat and mouse was awesome. Him trying to save his son from himself was great. Being in a serial killer club and hunting them down one by one was an awesome premise. A little bit of a ridiculous premise. The show knew when to be funny. The show knew when to be serious. It's Dexter through and through. It's even better than New Blood. It definitely feels a lot more like a continuation of what the original series intended. And being in New York City has a very interesting setting when there's so many people around for Dexter's kills, essentially. Just love seeing how he got out of situations again. That's the best part about Dexter, honestly. And that brings me to number 1. And number 1's the final season of You. I swear to God, every single time this show ended a season, I said, there ain't no way they could do another. And they did. And somehow, every single season, they managed to up the ante. Every single season, they managed to give you twists and turns that you did not see coming. And I gotta say, the conclusion to me is extremely satisfactory. I think, I don't want to spoil the conclusion, but I think the universe is set right. I think SJWs would rejoice, and people who just love the show in general should like this ending, and the lead up to this ending, and the full mask coming off Joe. And so, I highly recommend the show. It's a 10 out of 10. And with that, guys, that's the end of my list. Clearly, my dog says we're done. So, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see y'all later.